Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Just Talks. I'm Justin Neely, co-hosting here with my guy, Jason, and our special guest all the way from New Orleans, Louisiana, Byron Joshua. Appreciate you for joining us, my brother.
Appreciate you for having me.
All right, so the first segment I want to talk about is what is going on in Florida State.
Oh my
First
goodness.
loss to Georgia Tech, and they just lost to Boston College. No, I gotta say, no offense to our boy DeMar here, and no offense to Anthony Brown, but Boston College isn't a good football team. They're not a good basketball team. They're always bottom of the BC. They're all bottom of the ACC. So I don't understand how they're beating who was a ranked team at the beginning of the season, top 15, and the big debate going on last year was that they should have been in the college football playoffs, and they were left out.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely. Oh my man.
No, you can't argue that they should be in the playoffs when you lose these bad losses. I know that they have a quarterback change, but the quarterback playing last year was their backup and their third string. It wasn't their starter. Jordan Travis was hurt, and now you have DJ, who's a five-star quarterback from Clemson, who was super hyped up, had a great season in Oregon State, and now they can't win a game.
Yeah, they lost a couple guys to the draft last year. You know, Jared Verse, Jordan Travis, shout out Albany guy. You know, but they still got some talent out there. My guy Patrick Payton, Miami kid on the edge. You know, he's doing his thing, all ACC player. But you know, they're just struggling from the start. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they go from here. I mean, honestly, 2 losses, first games. I think it's safe to say season's a wrap. And now at this point, you know, this is DJ's last season. You know, I feel bad for him with the memes going on where it's like, just put $5 in pump 3 or you know, just put the fries in the bag at this point. I mean, it's tough because, like, you know, he was a top quarterback, 5-star recruit out of high school. You know, he played for Clemson, and Clemson, you know, they're not doing as hot this season, but Clemson a few years ago, after Trevor Lawrence left, they were the hottest team in football. And, you know, he struggled there. But then in Oregon State, he looked good. I guess it maybe shows the weakness in the Pac-12. Now, Florida State, at this point, I don't see where they can turn. They have to turn the season around somehow. I mean, these were supposed to be their easy games.
Yeah, I mean, they still got some tough games left. Miami, after just coming off a big one.
Bounce back from that?
They got to show up. It's going to be hard to do. I know Miami's going to get it done right now after coming off a win against Florida. Dominated Florida, by the way.
That's what they play next?
No, it's later on in the season. But they got them, they got Clemson, and then also, you know, staying in state against Florida. So they got a couple games left. But I think the playoffs out of conversation. They're not.
I think so too. I mean, I don't know if they paid Georgia Tech for that week 1 game. I don't think so because Georgia Tech is still a decently sized school. But what are your thoughts on how colleges are paying colleges to, like, smaller schools to play? I mean, we saw, like, it's millions of dollars that Ohio State paid Akron, I think $1.8 million. It seems like, what if you get upset? You know, if you get an upset and you just paid that school almost $2 million that just cooked your season.
No, that's a major loss. I remember my freshman year here, we had a bye game against Boston College, actually. We played against, you know, one of my current teammates, DeMar Langford, and we upset them. You know, it was like, you know, over $250,000 given to their school to play against them when we upset them in their own place. So that, you know, that's incredible. For millions of dollars to, you know, you're supposed to be beaten down on these teams because, you know, lower level or whatever you call it. But to get embarrassed like that, it's crazy.
Well, let's see. The next game the Albany football team plays is West Virginia. So I assume there has to be money involved there to play.
Absolutely.
A Big 12 team. So let's see our guys do it. If we win in West Virginia, that'd be huge for us. Especially West Virginia is scared because I don't know if you guys know this. That's their Gold Rush game.
Oh, really?
Which is their big game of the season. Everyone wears yellow. It's their big event. It's like the Penn State whiteout. So, you know, we win in West Virginia on their biggest game of the season. You know, that's what I want to see. And you know, I would love to see it get it done. Like you said, how Boston College, we did that, you know, with the basketball team. So would love to see it happen again.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Let's go Great Danes.
Yeah, so I want to segue into the life of the Sanders here. Deion Sanders said the top 2 players on Colorado, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, he said will not play for certain teams. I don't know how I feel about these kind of ideologies because it seems like, it's such a gift to play pro. I don't like how picky athletes are getting nowadays. As, Caleb Williams initially said he wouldn't play for Chicago unless he got ownership, which is by far insane. I don't know why players getting ownership of a franchise. But I don't understand. I think sometimes players get too high and they're too, these opportunities, you're not entitled to it. We've seen so many injuries happen where, offers fly off the table. Yeah. And they have to realize that because, securing yourself a place in the NFL, that's people's dreams, and just securing that should be enough. It shouldn't be the team you want. And I think you guys agree to that. If you went to the NBA, you wouldn't care what team that would be.
Yeah, well, I think they're in a different kind of category, different situation, man. That's prime. He has a little more say on what's going on. Like, they could have went to the draft last year, and I felt like Travis Hunter would have been a top 10 pick. Yeah,
but if I'm an NFL GM and I hear a player say that, I don't know if I want them on my team. If they're like, I just want to be on this team. What if we do bad? Then are you going to request a trade? The people who have top picks are not going to be good teams for a reason. That's why they have top picks. So it kind of scares me in a way to draft these people when they're, may not want to play for us. And then what's going to happen? We draft them, they don't sign. In the NFL, you could not sign with a team if you don't want to be with a team. And then you can go whatever team you want. What team drafts you has the right to sign you, but you're not guaranteed that player. And a number one pick, a number two pick, you're not risking that.
I think Travis Hunter should be the number one pick regardless, of what team has that first option. And Byron, you said, at Alcorn State, you had the opportunity to see them play, a few times. What are your, thoughts on that, on just that whole experience with Prime and Shador? And
I guess you could see, it came a long way. They was at a HBCU, and I guess the odds was against them. So now that seeing them that they at Colorado and succeeding, excelling in a role, that's a big thing. That's big time.
Yeah, just kind of showing the talent that they have already and just building on that.
So in the first episode, we talked about how Magic Johnson spoke on Anthony's comments, saying it was disrespectful about, how the only skilled player was in the 90s and how you can't really talk about it if you're not from that generation. And now Paul George also spoke up about it, saying it's immature and disrespectful. I completely agree. I think Paul George, is the perfect kind of player that knows how to deal with these situations, being the veteran he is.
Absolutely. He's somebody that, of this generation, a lot of people think he's the GOAT. They'll put him over LeBron. They'll put him over Jordan, which I could understand because I remember being a kid watching Indiana, Paul George, and he's unstoppable, just dunking all over everybody. I remember the series against the Heat was just, it's high level. But no, I respect that. You gotta give the flowers to, the players that came before you and had a lot of success, in the 90s, which, I guess referred to as toughest era or, according to them. But, it's
I think they kind of, like the players before them, I think they kind of paved the way. I think it's kind of disrespectful to them too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. At the end of the day, you don't have what you have without the people before you. Right. You can't say that the 90s basketball players didn't inspire the 2000s and the players. Yeah. Everybody's handles now. You can't say AI wasn't a part of that.
Yeah, no, they're the guys who built the base for, the next generations. I'm sure the next wave of guys will look at Anthony Edwards and be like, nah, Anthony Edwards is my go. I thought he was, he's the best player I was able to see. Outside of YouTube highlights where guys don't miss.
Definitely. And we just saw Evan Fournier actually now signed in the EuroLeague, which was pretty interesting to me. I honestly thought he was decent with the Knicks as a bench piece. I was surprised to see him leave. Do you think it was his choice, or do you think it was just him not being able to find a spot in the NBA?
I think it was definitely his choice. He played 12 years in the NBA, won a silver medal with France in the Olympics, averaged about 9 and 2 assists. So, he's a solid player. He's only 31, so there's much more game than he has left. But I think it was his decision. Took a 2-year deal, $4 million. And, as a veteran in the league, probably, didn't get the contract he wanted, or a team didn't want to pick him up for a minimum. So, he's still hooping. So,
all right. A fake Colombian basketball team has entered a Russian pro league tournament. Mind you, this was organized by a student. And I think this proved a great thing. They lost by 102 points.
102 points.
So if you guys ever wanted to, if you want to ever humble those people who say, oh, I could have, an average person could have, I could have scored a point in this game, or I could have done this. We know Russia does not produce the best basketball players, historically at least.
Yeah, no.
Losing 102 points to a Russian basketball team is insane.
Yeah, I mean, just having the audacity to finagle a way to get a fake Colombian team in there is crazy. To represent the country and lose by 100 points, like, that's a lot of points.
Actually, a fun fact: I think it was either 41-0 or 41-2 in the first quarter. In the first quarter,
they should have known something was like,
something going on.
Once, after that first quarter, it should have been some questions going around.
I might gotta go watch that game.
Yeah, we gotta watch the highlights, and there's no like background checks. Like they just just pull up. All right, bet.
Yeah, I think that says a lot to the organizer of this event, because I don't understand how you get a fake national team. You would think even in Colombia, who's not really a huge basketball nation, you could tell if a player's pro or not. Like,
they must have hacked into something. They had some type of hacking.
They hacked the system.
Had to. There ain't no way to get a full fake team in it.
There's actually now a lawsuit going on from the Colombian Basketball Federation suing this team.
Oh yeah, license using the name. Like, come on, you can't do that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think these players realize what they just got themselves into. I mean, like I said, the person organized was a college student.
I hope they had fun though. I'm sure they had a great time. I'm sure they had a great time.
The last thing I'm curious about is, like, you can't just, like, this wasn't played in Colombia. This was played in Russia. So they had hotels booked, flights. Yeah, Russia's not close to Colombia by any means.
Yeah.
So how do you finagle not just getting in, getting the flights, getting the hotels without anybody noticing?
Transportation, food, everything covered. They probably had a host take them from to and from different places.
Living out the dream.
Oh, great! I'm a pro.
This is similar to a situation we saw not too long ago in college with high school football. We saw IGN play Bishop Sycamore, which isn't a real school.
I remember that. I
don't understand. IGN
fake 5 stars and all that. Yep.
For real?
Yeah, it was a high school game. They had like fake 4-star recruits, 5-star recruits, and they scheduled a game. It was IMG.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, IMG, and they just got blasted. And
who got blasted? The fake team.
Yeah, the fake team. Yeah.
I think we all know IMG Academy is one of the greatest high school programs across any sport.
Football,
basketball.
basketball.
So you would think they would know every program that's a 5-star elite high school program.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how Bishop Sycamore ended on this schedule. Like, I would say IMG is up there with like D1 schools when you talk about recognition.
Oh, and
the prestige that they are.
Yeah.
So like,
it's crazy.
$100,000 to go to school there.
Like, I couldn't imagine Albany playing a fake college.
Oh,
but I feel like that's similar to the IMG thing, because IMG is just that big in high school. They're nationally televised. Like, how would you guys react if you just realized you played a fake college in a game? I don't understand how you go through that.
First of all, we better win. We better win. But that'd be insane to find out. I mean,
I'd definitely be shocked. How they even get to that point to where they playing us? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, if that ever happens, it would definitely be something that would be historical for the school in a bad way, because I think the entire media team would be fired.
Oh yeah. We'd be on the headlines though. We'd be headlined.
You better win though. If you lose to a fake school, there's no coming back.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone would transfer at that point. Program would have to retired.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is a team that isn't, we don't like to talk about here is the Vermont Catamounts. The Vermont Catamounts have definitely had their way in the American East for as long as I can even remember. They are Vermont as states ranked has the #1 winning percentage. Now, I think it's a little bit skewed because Vermont doesn't have many D1 schools.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I think North Carolina was top 20, top 16. But let's be honest here. If you want to say the best state for basketball is North Carolina, you have NC State, you have Duke, North Carolina. But because of the schools like Gardner-Webb and NC&M and those smaller D1 schools, it kind of tanks the ranking for winning percentage. And I think that, especially also with Vermont, they're playing the American East, and we can't compare that to ACC.
Yeah, it's not.
So it's a lot easier to win in their division. So I think it's definitely a skewed stat, but nonetheless, they are number one in winning percentage of the country, which, is something to brag about.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've done a great job over the past few years, been dominating, in the American East, made it to a tournament quite a few times, winning the conference, numerous times as well. So it's just, shout out to them, but they're going to have to see the Great Danes this season.
Oh, yeah, they got to see it.
We're looking forward.
And some unfortunate news has arrived yesterday with Gonzaga. Wing Steele has been out for the year, which is awful because he was hurt last season.
Yep, tore his ACL last season.
And now his Achilles, and the season hasn't started. I mean, the problem especially is, college is such a short leash. 2 season-ending injuries, on a team like the Zags. So I think it's going to be tough for him, especially. And I really hope the best for him, and I hope the best for the Zags. I mean, losing a player of that caliber, it could be very, very detrimental to the program. And everybody always calls the Zags the biggest frauds because of their conference. It's not very competitive. You have San Francisco, you have St. Mary's, but it seems like they have an easy road to March Madness, and that they always end up losing because of that.
But still, you don't want to see, unfortunate for Steele season and injury. And, when he was at Eastern Michigan, averaging 15 points per game, shooting 37 from 3, he definitely could have contributed a lot to this Gonzaga team. But, wishing him a speedy recovery, and, it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be hard, being at a place like Gonzaga who can pull in, high-level recruits. So just hopefully it all works out for him.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we really hope that he can come back strong next year, and if he's able to just be able to show people what he has. I mean, losing 2 years of eligibility is going to be tough. I'm pretty sure he was redshirt his freshman year, so I don't know. I just hope the best for his, you can't change the past, but you could change the future. So I really hope that's what ends up happening in this situation. The number 1 recruit in the 26th class, Tyron Spokes, has now officially announced he will be visiting Louisville in October. Mind you, he is from Louisville, Kentucky. That has a lot to do with this decision. Now, this is huge for Louisville. I mean, Louisville had Donovan Mitchell, but they haven't had the greatest success in college basketball recently. So I think this move would be a huge shift in the program. So whatever they have to do, send the house and go dancing with the family, have a barbecue.
All the NIL you can get them, give it to them. Well, your whole budget.
He definitely deserve it all.
Yeah, no, I had the opportunity. I actually got to see him playing in the Bowling on the Beach tournament in Miami when he was in middle school. And he was in 8th grade dunking on kids.
Yeah.
It was the superstardom he had at an early age was incredible. Kids running on the court, rushing him. He's super talented. And then, going to prolific prep for high school, playing with AJ Dibansa. Hopefully I said his name the right way. Also the number one player in the 2025 class. Those two are on a tear and playing in the UIBL for the Oakland Soldiers as well.
And I think they was at the same high school.
Yeah, same high school, prolific. Yeah. That kid's really, really talented. Super athletic, physical. Played on the U17 Olympic team, won gold, and Louisville, you got to come with it.
Got to.
Whatever you have to do. I mean, whatever event, send the house. It's that
contract.
simple. Max contract.
Give him a max deal.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's incredible what we've seen, how much proximity to home really means to these top players. They're not always it's kind of crazy to think about that. They don't really care about top schools because they can get any top school they want. So what separates these top schools usually ends up being proximity to home, or whether it be a coach relationship, because it's kind of crazy that he has any offer he wants. And I mean, even from Louisville, it's going to be tough to get him. I mean, you always have North Carolina, you always have Duke, you always have those schools in the mix. So, and especially from Kentucky, I mean, Tennessee is not far away, and we've seen the Volunteers really dominate college basketball recently. So there's a lot of competition there, but hopefully for Louisville, they're able to get this guy, and I think he would be a program changer.
Yeah, and just to add on what you're saying about like proximity, and another example would be the Boozer brothers down in Miami. I think they broke down to their final three. It was University of Miami, Duke, and Florida. Option Duke, obviously, their father played there. Carlos Boozer, NBA veteran, and then Miami's close to home. They went to one of my rival high schools, and they've dominated high school basketball, winning pretty much everything. Peach Jam 3 times in a row. They won states 3 years in a row. They got 2 gold medals.
That's a hell of a career.
They've dominated. They're probably on the best. They had the best AAU team in history. They got, I think probably, the whole team's high major, but they'll probably have 4 or 5 pros come out of their AAU team. Incredible. And that's just another example of proximity in Miami. They gonna have to come with the NIL deals or figure it out to get them as well. Same thing with Florida or Duke.
Definitely. And I think the last thing I want to mention on this is usually when we see these situations, we haven't seen any recently, and the biggest thing that everyone would make jokes about before NIL existed was, how did this team get on this guy's radar? There had to be some under the table kind of thing. Yeah. Now we don't have that, which is good. It makes more sense because there's going to have to be something under the table, which doesn't have to be on the table anymore because it's allowed. But there's going to be some kind of payment that's going to have to be made for this guy, and I'm excited because there's nothing more exciting in college basketball than seeing people not go to those top schools.
Yeah, staying at home, hometown heroes, man. Yeah, love to see a good hometown.
Yeah, and we talked about it on a past podcast about Arkansas with Coach Cal. They're considered the #1 recruiting class, top 5 recruiting class, and they seem like the #1 destination for the future.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm pretty sure he stole literally all.
He took his whole Kentucky roster with him, and then a few 5 stars out of high school.
So it's cool seeing him move places because Arkansas, they were good, but they weren't. They were never the top dog. So it's cool. Gonna see if we can get them to be the top dogs. It would be cool to see somewhere new. It's always cool seeing the coach carousel move and see teams that haven't had as much success start getting in that caliber. Now, the last college basketball topic is one that's tough to talk about. Ashlyn Watkins was arrested for assault, battery, and kidnapping, which is pretty crazy to think about. I really hope everything gets sorted out and everything's good in that situation because
she's a force.
Well, she's not just a force. South Carolina and UConn were like the 2 biggest women's basketball teams in history, and it would really suck to see South Carolina dip from that spot. They went perfect last season.
Yeah, but undefeated season.
Yeah, they definitely losing a big piece of the team.
Averaging 9 and 7. That's a lot. That's a big impact. So hopefully it all gets worked out for her and see her on the court.
Yeah, and Camila Cardozo obviously went to the WNBA, and they lost a lot of players last season. So it's the toughest thing is like we were talking about Kentucky, which Coach Cal is when you lose these players, it's hard to replace them, and coach completely new guys. So I think that's going to be tough for now South Carolina to really compete as high if they don't have Ashlyn Watkins, because UConn, a good example is Paige Beckers. She could have went to the NBA draft last year, but she didn't because she wanted that last season. And now playing in her last season, it's going to be hard for these teams to compete because she's on her last year of eligibility, and she's been playing at a high level when she's healthy. She's had injury concerns, and I think that's why she won this last season. But if you're taking South Carolina, who's already lost a ton of talent, and then lose, Ashlyn Watkins, arguably the best player, it's going to be really tough to compete with UConn and those teams, or even USC with Juju Watkins, who might be the greatest freshman in history of women's basketball. And just to see what she's done as a freshman, top 5 player in all of women's basketball as a freshman, a true freshman.
Dominated.
It's unheard of. USC, has been dominating recently, unlike the men's team. Sorry, Bronny, but you know, it haven't been, you know, where you guys were at Mobley, but it's going to be tough for South Carolina. And everyone knows you want to see those top dogs leave that position. So, you know, people are going to love to see South Carolina fall, but, you know, it would really suck if they do. And I really hope everything gets sorted out in that situation. All right, today, guys, we're doing blind build a player. We're going to be based on an IQ, shooting, size, defense, and ball handling. The first player we have today is Miles Turner.
Definitely got to go with size for that, bro. All right. Yeah, we're going size. I like his defense too, man. He's a great shot blocker. But, you know.
All right, next we're going with my Phoenix Suns, Isaiah Thomas.
IT, I'm going IQ or ball handling. What you got for? We got to pick one, though.
Thinking ball handling, IQ.
We can roll with the ball handling. Yeah.
Now, the next one we have, I think, is going to be an easy one. Giannis.
Defense, come on.
Yeah, of course.
Defense
That
all
was
day.
kind of a
Yeah,
layup at that
come on.
point.
Need that.
Next, I think is another easy one, CP3.
IQ.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
All day.
I'll be honest, when I was making this list, I was kind of hoping you would pick.
You giving us all-star play. All these guys are all-stars.
Well, to make an MVP player, we can't just put bad players in it because
That's true.
I was hoping, honestly, you would have put like Isaiah Thomas at size, like at 11th, or like no,
spice it up,
honestly,
challenge yourselves.
or Isaiah Thomas at IQ, and then because you have
CP3 could guard though. Like I wouldn't mind Chris Paul.
Chris
at
Paul is good
defense.
defense, but what I'm saying is you already have defense gone and size gone. If you had defense,
True,
size,
true,
and
true.
IQ, that would have been a tough spot. But you guys got lucky.
Come on, well, you know we here. PG, we really
And the last player we have is Cat.
shooting. Come on, you won the 3-point contest.
Yeah, I think you guys killed that.
Dude, this
Yeah,
player
lace
is
it.
MVP, bro.
I think this guy's going to the finals.
I think they. You had Miles Turner for which one?
Size.
Yeah,
Yes.
this nigga
They
definitely-
killed it.
This is a
You
Denver
guys-
player,
You
bro.
guys killed it.
We dominated this one.
You got destroyed in blind ranking players the last 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
you made up for it this one. I'm not gonna lie.
The
You
Bam
definitely
over
could.
Brunson hurt me.
That hurt you? What about
Yeah.
Curry at 5?
Oh yeah, the Curry at 5 hurt me
He
too.
put Curry at 5. And
We did like blind ranking of 5 players. I had Bam at 2, Curry at 5. I was all messed up, bro. I was all over the place. But I made it up with this one.
The next segment we're going into is old versus new NBA edition. We're going to be talking about players from the past generations with current players now. The first one is a very interesting and similar is AI versus Kyrie. Probably some of the greatest ball handlers of all time.
We got to pick one, or
Yeah.
or who's
This
winning
one,
the
no,
one.
this is going to be each one. You could do different
I'm
answers.
taking Kyrie.
No,
I didn't see Kyrie do some
absolutely
stuff
not.
in the playoffs single-handedly by itself.
I've seen AI. Well, I didn't see it, but you know, AI brought a team to the finals himself.
Yeah, I feel
Nah,
like
you right.
Kyrie, like, he didn't have that solo energy.
Yeah, it
like
wasn't.
that AI
Bro,
had.
Kyrie is
It
different,
wasn't
bro.
chain swinging
It's rough,
tattoos. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know not one person in the NBA that can guard Kyrie. Like,
Who could guard AI? He
Yeah,
was
you
getting
right,
his hair
yeah.
braided
You're
during the
right.
game.
AI do
Wait,
whatever he want
he
in
do
the
what he
game.
what, and he crossed Jordan. Like, come on.
He did
got
cross
to
Jordan.
That's what I'm
Across the
saying.
Jordan.
Come, can I have this dance, please?
All right, the next one is another interesting one is KD versus Dirk. It's probably the two best shooting big men of all time.
KD. So I'm going with the Slim Reaper.
KD's not a big man though. He's just a bigger guard.
Bigger guard. Big
KD's
guard.
really a 2 at 7 feet tall. But I'm going KD with that. Shout out to Dirk. He beat the Heat, and
Yeah,
never forget it. It hurts. Still hurts to this day.
definitely hurt me. I'm a LeBron fan, so
There he is. But definitely KD. Cold. Come on. Slim Reaper.
This next one I think is closer than people think is Hakeem versus Jokic. That's a tough one. That might be the toughest one I have here.
Yeah, that might be.
I don't really know too much about Hakeem. I'm not gonna lie.
So
So I can't answer this one.
You go with
answer
your.
this one.
Oh, you can't answer. I like to stay out of it. I like
I'll
that.
stay out this.
I don't know, man.
You got to think
Keenan-
about the assist factor with Jokic and the playmaking.
That's true. I mean, the playmaking ability is there. He triple double on any night, but I think you just think of like history of the game and influence of the game when it comes to Hakeem. But I mean, I'm talking NBA today. I'm going with Jokic just because, you know, his impact on the game, I feel like, is a lot bigger. You know, the history might not be there, but I feel like his impact is incredible.
This next one's also an interesting one. I'm curious, is Tracy McGrady versus Giannis?
T-Mac. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even think about it.
What we talking about, like
Prime.
We talking about prime T-Mac versus Giannis.
Yeah, I'm about to go T-Mac.
Come on, man. Thank you. I was worried for a little bit. Don't scare me like that.
I didn't see Giannis score 50 points all twos. That's hard to do.
Like, come on.
Like straight dunks.
Oh, I mean, listen, when you 7 feet tall and just can dunk on anybody on any possession.
That's why I was kind of guessing, like, okay,
come on. But T-Mac really got to that, like shifty, come here, swing, spin, fade on your head. Like he really did it all. You know what I'm saying?
I make a feeling for this one, but I think this is probably the closest or second closest is Westbrook versus Isaiah OG Thomas. The OG Isaiah Thomas. Bad boy Pistons.
Westbrook a dog.
I just, that Bulldog and Westbrook really.
Triple-double king.
Yeah.
For like a year straight?
Yeah, whole season. MVP Russ.
The whole season triple-double.
He's now Russ. But shout out to Isaiah Thomas. But that's like what we were talking about earlier with like Anthony Edwards and talking about the older generation. Like I wasn't there to see that. I wasn't there to see what he really did. You know, like I can look up highlights, defense and stuff like that. But I really got to see Russell Westbrook just, you know, tear the rim down every time he drove, you know, just dominate the league.
Yeah, so you guys split on AI and Kyrie. You both agreed on McGrady, both agreed on Westbrook, both agreed on KD, and you both agreed on, sorry, it was Hakeem or Jokic that you selected?
I say Jokic.
Okay, so 3-2 win for the current generation.
Come on.
Going with Ant's logic there.
Yeah, you know, new generation's coming on with it. We here.
All right, guys, this segment is, will this player win a ring? You're going to upset a lot of people here. I have some young ones. I have some old ones. So it's going to be interesting. The first one I have is young, is Ant-Man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely can see Ant winning the ring.
I think they can make a finals run this coming season. Same team returning.
Yeah,
Guys stay healthy. Guys stay healthy. Ant-Man in the finals versus the Miami Heat.
He's got a winning mindset.
Heat in 6.
Miami Heat.
He's one of those players you like, if he didn't win a ring, that's just like sad. Bro.
Yeah. You know,
this next one is going to hurt a lot of people if you pick a certain answer. Is CP3. He's done everything but win a ring.
I was really about to say before we started, CP3, absolutely not. I'm sorry. CP3, you're one of the greatest point guards of all time. Floor general, do it all. But I don't think so, man.
Only way I can see CP3 win a ring is if he joined like a crazy team, like
super team, like Westbrook joining Denver,
like play with like Denver or something.
Yeah. Like Westbrook should get a ring now. He should win a ring. Westbrook in Denver right now. Jamal Murray, he traded to Denver.
I don't see why they shouldn't.
Yeah, if they don't, hurts.
Yeah, the one thing I want to comment on this is, if he doesn't win a ring, unfortunately, will he be the greatest point guard of all time to not win a ring?
To not win a ring?
To not win a ring.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. To not win a ring, absolutely.
I may be biased here, but I got to give it to my Phoenix son, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
Okay, that's fair.
That's
fair.
Steve Nash, I think, is the greatest point guard to not win a ring. I mean, he's done everything but win a ring. So has CP3. I mean, you could pick either one. They're both great candidates. Yeah. I could be a little biased being a Suns fan, but
hey, he played for the Suns too, so he's a Phoenix guy.
Oh yeah, so Chris Paul played as well. But I will say I was a little frustrated with Chris Paul. I mean, he's just not as fast laterally as he used to be, and it would be tough.
He's older, man.
Yeah,
Almost
he's older,
and
that's the thing that's gonna be tough. Is I don't think he can win a ring. It's gonna be the team that's gonna have to win it for him.
Oh yeah, he's just on the team.
Yeah, which is tough.
I think he could contribute though. It's not.
Yeah,
like
but it's not gonna be the
pine.
star guy on the team, which sucks because that's what you want from a star like that. You want them to actually be the reason. You know, when Steve Nash went to the finals with Phoenix, he was the guy. You know, when Chris Paul went, it was Booker. So it's unfortunate to see that happen, but at the end of the day, a ring's a ring. You can't really
Hey,
complain.
listen, I'll take it in any way I can get it, man. Pause.
The next one I'm going to name is Joel Embiid. Will the process ever be finished?
Not in Philly. Has to go somewhere else.
Could you even consider it the process at that point if he changes teams?
How long has he been processing for? I'm tired of it.
He became like an MVP candidate at this point. What more can he do, like with the current team besides win? Literally just
like,
win.
You know, I mean, they got, you know, Pandemic P over there about to handle business. Tyrese Maxey's
they don't win
looking
with this
good.
team. I don't know.
Nah, if they don't
Might
win
be
with this
time
team,
for him to go.
yeah, it's time for him to go. He can come to Miami. You know what I'm saying? We need a.
Nah,
Well, we got.
him and Jimmy.
Oh my.
Okay,
come
but
on.
I
I
love
don't
that
think
too.
Jimmy.
Think about this. If the 76ers and the Knicks had the same series over again, except that Philly had Paul George this time, do the Philadelphia 76ers win?
A healthy Paul George.
A healthy Paul George.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't think so. I
Did
think the
he-
Knicks just
were
had
they-
so much fire
Knicks.
this playoffs. I
Well,
mean,
the Nova Knicks. You know.
well, you have to remember, it's not all about talent and the people you have. Remember what we saw in OKC? If I told you the team on paper a year or two ago, you would not think they'd be a top three team.
No, super young, but they play together. You know?
That's what I'm saying.
power
The
of
Knicks
friendship.
chemistry, I just don't think you can create with stars. You really have to match that chemistry. And I hate to say it, when is the last time we've seen Paul George actually gel with the team? It seems like he can't gel where he goes. It's tough. I mean, when you're an older player like that, it's really hard to start building the chemistry you had when you were younger.
I agree with that. You know, he is, you know, on the back end of his career, but still, I mean, there's cases where talent's gonna beat chemistry, man. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
going to
know.
be
Knicks
dogs.
healthy though. I think Knicks still win.
Yeah,
A
I
healthy
think
Knicks is
if
That's
Mikal
wild.
if
Yeah.
Mikal is focused on defense and not scoring, which he will be this year because he's a defensive player, he just didn't have the opportunity in the Nets. I think that's a scary defensive team, bro.
Yeah.
Realistically.
I forgot he's at the Knicks now.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like that's a whole nother forward that you didn't have. You just had to rely on OG for basically
Yeah, OG
all
played.
the defense.
Yeah.
OG did everything.
Of course, yeah. Now the next person actually works perfectly. I couldn't believe how good this conversation went. Jalen Brunson
I think he'll get one.
with New
I
York.
think he'll get one. Yeah, I think they.
I think they have a 3-year window.
It's now or never for them, just like the Sixers. Now or never.
But you said no ring for Embiid, but you both saying ring for Brunson?
Yeah, I think the team he has. Yeah, he got a better chemistry team, even though we just argued about Sixers and the Knicks.
Because I'm you kind of contradicting yourself
contradict
here.
myself a little bit, but well, he brought up if the Sixers had to play the Knicks with this team now, but I don't know, man. I want to see Brunson. That's just me wanting Brunson to win a ring. I don't, you know.
I'll be very careful. The next one is Devin Booker.
No, I don't think so, man. Phoenix had the
Not in
chance.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Not in Phoenix. I don't think so. I think they had their shot.
With KD and Beal, you still don't think it's enough?
No.
Bro,
Nah,
this Bradley Beal is not the Bradley Beal I knew 5 years ago.
Yeah, this ain't Washington.
Yeah, this ain't number one scorer in the league, Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
See, I think people have to realize how can you have that with KD and Booker?
it's
Someone's got to
impossible.
be
You
able to.
That's why I don't think they'll make it that far.
If he was like a true like two-way player, I think maybe, but it's just too awkward having all these guys. I don't know what they expect to happen.
Too many lethal scorers.
It's funny you
And
say
they also
that.
didn't play that many games together, like all three of
Yeah.
them throughout the season. There was always one guy injured or out or rest or load. You know, they didn't really get to. I feel like build that chemistry and get rolling.
Yeah, they were very injured last season. Now, the thing I want to bring up real quick is one, it's going to happen. They're gonna win a championship the next 3 years. I'm calling it now. The Phoenix Suns are gonna win their first NBA championship, and I will be there. So if you guys see me, in the finals, say what's up and say I told you so, because it's gonna happen.
I guess we ain't gonna see you in the
Yeah,
finals.
we ain't gonna see you for it.
Because you have to realize, well, you guys brought up a great point. They're a great shooting team, and what couldn't we do in the playoffs? Shoot. That's why we lost. We couldn't play defense and we couldn't shoot. How are you gonna win a basketball game with no defense and not shooting? It's impossible. Now, I just think, like I said, it was coaching. Frank Vogel's an idiot. I'm just gonna say he's awful. He may be one of the worst coaches in NBA history. I do not want to see that guy's face on in the NBA. He doesn't deserve to be there. What has he done? Oh, he got a Mickey Mouse championship with the Lakers. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. He played a terrible Miami Heat. He played the Miami Heat, bro. Who cares?
Whoa.
What, Tyler Hero?
Championship contender.
Tyler,
They were deadly. They were deadly.
You think so? No, that was a Mickey Mouse championship.
What you know about prime Duncan Robinson?
Yeah, prime Duncan Robinson.
Kobe, you gotta be talking about Kobe.
Yeah, come on, bubble
I'm just
chip.
saying here, like, they weren't the second best team in the NBA that year. They had to run.
They
And
figured it out.
I hate to say it, the reason they went there was because they have maybe the greatest coach in NBA history, Eric Spoelstra. I think he can you can get, anybody on that guy on the Heat and they're gonna be competitive.
It's culture, yeah.
But-
It's the guys that they bring in, and they have talent. Bam, Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Duncan
talent.
Robinson. Like it's not an
Kyle
absence of talent. You need players to go make plays.
The only true superstar on that team is Jimmy.
And Bam,
And Bam,
definitely
yeah, those two.
superstar.
But is two enough?
absolutely,
Yeah, I think so.
absolutely.
If you have like the right guys around them,
Yeah, supporting cast got to be there.
It's
They
tough
show
in
up.
this league where it seems like there's superstars at every place you go. There's 3 forwards on teams. It's insane. But what I will say is that if the Heat do win a championship,
When
all right. So the Heat win a championship, I think it's gonna have to be major coaching. And it just seems like that Celtics series, even if Jimmy was there, I don't think they even stood a chance. I mean, they were like 34-point underdogs at one point. I mean, you think
after
Jimmy being
went
there
down, absolutely
adds 30 points to the
That's
spread?
a different kind of energy and pop that the Heat are going to play with Jimmy.
definitely.
He brings a different kind of juice. I mean, when we lost,
Jimmy a dog.
yeah, like even like you can look at the recent years, him barking with guys, getting in each other's face, poking people on the
It's hard
nose,
to
like
replace that
yeah.
energy.
So does age not play a factor with the guy? I mean, you can't tell me
Jimmy's
Jimmy's
what,
young.
about 34, I think 33,
Yeah.
34.
I mean, that's not young.
He probably got another 2 to get it done, and then it's gonna be,
I'm just saying, I just don't think he has what he had in the tank like 3 or 4 years ago.
I don't think anybody does at that age.
But
You
that's
get to
kind of what I'm
35.
saying at this point is, I mean, even in 2020, I mean, he was very good. But I'm just saying, you have LeBron, you have AD, Frank Vogel. He didn't play a role in that team because what did they do the year after? I'm just saying that Mickey Mouse
Well,
championship.
LeBron was hurt, so and AD. I think AD was hurt too.
They played in the
AD.
playoffs against the Suns. What?
Did they?
They didn't play the full playoffs, but they played.
Gaslighting.
Playing superstars.
All right. Well, there's a reason Frank Vogel was fired from the last 2 teams. And what I will say is the Suns coach now, I mean, he was very successful with the Bucks. I don't know why he was fired.
That didn't make sense.
Didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And they hired another terrible coach, Doc Rivers. Sorry, Doc. You're not a good coach. Hate to break it to you, buddy. I even think your son Austin would agree with that one. You're not a good fit.
I think a healthy Giannis and Damian Lillard, they could have been a finals caliber team.
I just think Doc Rivers.
I'd
God,
Chris Middleton
I'd
too.
take, yeah.
I think coaching's a big thing. And like I said,
Absolutely, but I mean,
You
if
think
you're,
Doc
you're
Rivers can
superstar,
coach that?
They got 2 superstar players. He doesn't have to coach that. He has Giannis.
you still
and-
have to coach. We've seen times where you have a ton of superstars on a team, but they still can't win, and it's all because of coaching.
This is true.
I put it this way, what about the Lakers? I mean, yeah, LeBron and AD weren't healthy, in 2020, 2021, in the 21 season. But what about the last few years? I mean, LeBron and AD, what did they do last season? I mean,
LeBron's also 40. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
what do you have to say about that? I mean, LeBron's still playing.
Oh, no, he's still playing at
So what does
all-star
age?
caliber.
You can't
but,
put age as a factor when he's balling like how he's balling.
Nah,
I
he's balling,
guess.
but he can't go for 60 every night.
Yeah, he's not scoring 60 every
You-
night,
you
putting the
don't-
team on his back like that. He's
can't
not.
do that
This
like
isn't
he's
Cleveland
doing it.
LeBron.
But this
is
isn't just LeBron. You have AD, you have Austin Rivers,
AD's in and
Austin
out.
Reeves.
Austin Reeves isn't putting the team on, but he's contributed. Great player.
But I'm just saying, if you talk 1 to 5, there's so much talent on this team, and they just can't win.
I
you
hear
should
it.
be able to win. I'm not saying win the championship, but they're not playing like contenders.
Fair enough.
And
I mean, they're a play-in team.
and I'm sorry, LeBron, one of the greatest players of all time. It's your fault you're not winning because the coach hiring you're
greatest
doing
player.
are not right. why? Like, I hate to break it to you, but why did you hire JJ Redick? Greatest three-point shooter of all time. How do we know he can coach? Has no coaching experience. It just seems like
believe.
It just seems like this friendly hiring. It just never works out.
That's how they keep the same circle of people in there, but
but it's never worked.
It's one of those trust me, bro, I got it. One of those kind of situations.
It's literally like they had 3 episodes on their podcast, and he's like, "All right, I'm sold."
All right, yeah, he's the one. Give him the job now.
Yeah, I think it's tough to think about because it seems like it's really hard to be a player and coach in the NBA.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Steve Nash, love Steve Nash to death, but his Brooklyn run was tough to watch.
I think Jason Kidd's done a good job, though.
Yeah. It's possible, but it just seems like
it's hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, we saw it with Larry Nance, but yeah, I just think honestly, it might be the hardest sport. Basketball might be the hardest sport to go be successful as a player and as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we've seen the NFL. You could ex-players be great coaches, but it seems like it's a different game, and it seems like
it changes from when they were playing. Like, I mean, you look at somebody like Jason Kidd, for example. The game now isn't the same game that he was playing in. But I think he figured out how to adapt and change and learn, and he's having success. So.
Yes, after.